Okay, Shannon, welcome to our session. Let's get started.
All right, sounds great. So we are here to talk about onboarding. Hopefully we won't have too many technical difficulties, but if we do, we will we'll find another way. Where there's a will, there is a way. It's about being consistent and finding solutions to our problems, right? Let's start talking about onboarding. So this is our third webinar together. I'm so grateful to be here with you. It's really great to be on this journey with you. I hope that you continue to see real valuable content that comes your way that can really help you. There were lots of comments in the last webinar that we will address. There was lots of comments around product, and we just want to reset the expectations that these webinars are truly about sharing Healy, and there will definitely be some product training that will come our way. So you're not seeing my slides, apparently. Is that the truth, or do we see them now?
I see them.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So sounds good. I was just getting a delayed message, I think. All right. So where are we on the foundations roadmap? Well, we've done modern sales. We've talked about what modern sales looks like specifically in direct selling. We've taken a look at how to get a strong start when we decide to take Healy to the next step, where we begin to share it with others. And now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about onboarding. So today we're talking about onboarding and really unleashing ourselves, our own power, as well as our team's power. So onboarding really does matter. And it gives you, I've on the screen, you'll see some really great benefits of a good onboarding experience. Onboarding really sets a realistic expectation or idea of what will happen in a day in the life of a direct sales professional as a Healy member. And so taking the time to really formally onboard in your first few days can really give you the best chance of having a strong start. But it doesn't have to happen then. So we had talked about getting a strong start last time, and so sometimes what we need to do is we need to do a restart, or just make sure that we're running our business the way in which that's going to set us up for the most success. So one of the benefits, though, of having a strong onboarding experience is you're much more likely to overcome some of those obstacles that get in the way to become more successful. So this is exactly why we're having this conversation, and we're having it for you. But we're also having it for you to understand what's going to be important as a sponsor, if that's the way in which you choose to do your business. So we're going to look at it in both ways. If you are just selling the product to customers, that's okay. Take what you need from this call, and hopefully it gives you some really great value in understanding what's most important. But if you're building a team, this is going to be especially great for you. So let's dive in a little bit further, okay? Each new person that joins your team, your Healy team, has the potential to succeed. Just understand that. Everybody has potential. Do they have the same potential? Well, we've had this conversation before. No, not everyone has the same potential. However, everyone does have some potential to succeed. And it really does come down to how they want to run their business, what goals that they've set, how well they're setting aside the time to work on the right things. Some of those things that we talked about in last week's webinar. One of the things that we want to, I guess, highlight is if you don't have a good onboarding experience, or you miss some of those important things or steps that you want to be really cognizant of, you can sometimes lose momentum. And sometimes you can lose that excitement because you're overwhelmed with, I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to get the information I need, and all of those things. So what I'm going to do today is we're actually going to talk about all those things that you should have in place. And if you don't have them in place, we're going to give you some action sheets. They're going to be available on the back office for you over the next couple of days. But these are just checklists of things, making sure that you have the important information that you need to have a good onboarding experience, or to bring someone through a good onboarding experience. So we want to just make sure that you have the best chance to succeed. So onboarding, well, you know what? When I first started in the direct sales industry, I actually didn't fully understand what it meant to be onboarded. I mean, I knew what that word meant, but what does it mean specifically in direct sales? And so essentially, it's when a sponsor or corporate, sometimes it can be and or both, they have a bit of a formal process, a method to bring you through all of the necessary information, where you understand where you can find support, some of the behaviors you'll need to hone or model, skills you'll need to hone, and perhaps get right down to the details of what you should be doing on a daily basis. So a daily activity plan. And that will vary depending on what level of attention you're giving your business, whether you want to do this, casually, whether you want to do it like official but part-time, or whether you want to go in as a full-time business. And there's no right or wrong way. Essentially, you want to build your business with what makes you feel comfortable and what reaches your dreams. But onboarding actually helps you really understand what are those things that I need in the beginning to keep me to reach some sort of success and keep me successful on an ongoing and sustainable basis. And what I would say is oftentimes, and I think I said this last week too, is because we don't necessarily know what is necessary to begin, we can do one of two things. We feel overwhelmed with all of the things and all of the knowledge and all of the product and all of the, all of the things that we're seeing everybody else do, and we don't know where to start. Or we can go down rabbit holes. And in our onboarding experience, it's very easy to go down rabbit holes. There's the comp plan rabbit hole. There's the product information rabbit hole. There's the back office rabbit hole. There's the building my list and trying to come up with people to talk to rabbit hole. So there's lots of rabbit holes that we get into. And what I want to do today is really simplify this so that you don't get overwhelmed by those things, that you know what is important and how much of it is important, so that you can have a really great start and you can help your people that are joining your team have that great start too. So I'm seeing some hearts, so I love it. Thank you so much for that. That's a really great way to know that maybe you are picking up what I'm laying down and it's resonating with you. So I really appreciate that. Oftentimes we hear the same frustrations across the board in direct sales in general. I don't know what I should be doing. I don't know who to ask for help. I don't know where to find X. I feel like I'm all alone. But these TAP onboarding checklists are really going to help you. And what's really cool is we actually have two for you. We have one when it comes to onboarding yourself. So here's the thing, not all companies, especially newer ones, have formalized training. Now, I do know that Healy has some plans. I hope I'm not telling any secrets, but I do know that they have some plans to release some formalized onboarding training near the end of this summer. So hopefully you'll keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you what you need so that you don't need to wait till the end of the summer to do anything, okay? The other thing that we need to understand is not all uplines understand what onboarding is, the value of onboarding, or how to do it, because oftentimes they're new themselves. This is something new. So there needs to be a little bit of, I suppose, empathy and understanding for folks. And, perhaps you have joined your team in hopes to do this full time, but your sponsor is only doing it part-time or casually. So maybe they're not always available when you need them. These are all things that we have to consider when it comes to onboarding. That is the reason why we gave you an onboarding checklist to onboard yourself and an onboarding checklist to help your sponsors. So you have two tools, two different sheets, but they're really great. Super simple. Wait till you see them. You're just going to know exactly what you need to do, okay? Remember that we're all learning and growing. We don't want you to be in this place of, I can't get support. I don't know where to find the help, any of those things. What I want us to do is to actually take ownership of our own journey and take ownership of our own business. We want to help, and we're going to give you these checklists that will help you understand what needs to be done right from the get-go, okay? All right, so this is the new member onboarding task list, okay? There's 8 tasks that you need to complete. And we're going to talk about each of them in some level of detail. Essentially, you want to meet with your sponsor. We'll talk about the importance of that and what some of the benefits of that are. We're going to talk about getting familiar with your Healy. And so we're going to talk a little bit about where can I find the information that I need in order to understand how this all works. Jody, just FYI, those check marks are not going in the right places.
Okay, fine. I give up.
All right. So building your networking list and what that looks like. And there's a lot of different opinions on who needs to go on that list and how you talk with those people. And when we get to that piece, we will actually address some of those things. Prepare to launch. Maybe you've had a formal launch. Maybe you've simply just announced to your loved ones that you're going to do this as a business. There's no wrong way to do it, but we will talk about the important things to do when you are considering to launch. We want you to be able to get connected to your support system. We're going to explain exactly what that means in a couple of minutes. We're going to talk about your Healy back office. We're going to talk about how you get paid. And we're also going to talk about Healy programs and promos. Okay, so how does that sound? Sound good? Thumbs up if it sounds good. All right, hearts, love it. Okay, so remember what I said in last week's webinar? I said, try to avoid negative influences and surround yourself with positivity. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we're breaking down those overwhelming tasks into small manageable tasks, then getting started on the first one, and then making sure that we are nurturing and protecting our new business, okay? So having that right support system in place is really, really key. Even though we shared some steps in last week's webinar on where to start, and I've just now shared 8 steps to onboard, we want to ensure that you continue your Healy journey with setting yourself up for success in the future. So with that said, let's talk about these 8 steps and what that actually looks like and what it means to us so that we can get a bit more in-depth understanding. So I think we've already identified beginnings are important, right? You have this amazing opportunity in front of you. You may or may not know what that entails. You may just be curious. Perhaps you've already built a successful Healy business, which is really, really amazing. We just want to make sure that you're leveraging that start and making sure that even though there's a lot to learn, that you don't have to learn it all at once. And you'll probably hear me say that over and over and over and over again. And the reason is because many of us get caught up in the details and it derails us. And we lose momentum, we lose our energy. And so what I want to do is I really want to just make sure that we're on track for the next 12 months that we're together. Let's make sure we're on track and that we are doing the things that are going to lead us to our individual success, all the while sharing Healy and helping people. And that is the beauty. I heard there was a couple of keynotes this morning, and one of the things that one of the CEOs said from stage this morning of a direct sales company is, direct sales is one of the only, outside of charities or nonprofits, that it's a full industry where you get to be successful and help people at the same time. And don't forget that. This is an amazing experience that you are part of and an amazing community that you're part of. And I don't ever want you to lose sight what amazing opportunity that is, that you can not just use your Healy and help yourself, but you can share that with others and at the same time reap some of those benefits. It's a pretty unique and amazing opportunity. So as you can see on the screen, that is the onboarding checklist. So when you're looking for it, you'll be able to see it. This one in particular, I think the writing is a little too small, but I think this is the individual onboarding, but there will be 2, okay? And we'll have them in Spanish as well. So for our Spanish community, we don't want you to feel left out. We know that your market is growing like hotcakes, so that's awesome. All right, so let's continue. I want you to create a positive experience, and we want to set your team up for success. And it's really, really important that you're learning from mistakes, and it's really important to understand that those mistakes will help you grow. But it's even better if you can learn from the mistakes of others, and best yet, to learn from their successes, because it does accelerate your own success. And that's why we really, really encourage the very first step in meeting with your sponsor. So I am going to ask you if you are hearing me correctly, and hopefully it's not too sketchy there, and that you can hear me without too much technical difficulty. I did want to ask this question in the chat. So if you have access to your chat, can you tell me why you think it's so important to not just meet with your sponsor, but why you might want to think about building this relationship? So we're going to wait and see what pops up in the chat. I'm curious to see what you think of that. Do you think it's important, and why do you think?
Okay, we're starting to see some responses coming in, Shannon, and you're breaking up just a touch, so we'll give you a second.
Okay.
Okay, I think, go ahead. I think
Sorry,
no, it's okay. I think our first one was from Teresa. She said, build confidence. Sandra says, to get experience. Sharon said, not hearing you, but that's okay. I think we'll get you back. Marianne Green says, so you feel connected and know you have support to get the info that isn't always easy to find, or at least originally easy to find. Andrea, community is key. Judy says, I told my sponsor I was not doing this business, so I actually have a ghost sponsor.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, try again. I can hear you coming back now. You bet.
Okay. All right, great. These are really great responses. And I do know that for sure that there are sometimes sponsors that aren't doing the business or aren't as involved as you'd like. And so we're going to actually talk about how we overcome some of those challenges. But let's first take a look at why it's important, okay? Your sponsor often, I should have put that word in, often has experience and knowledge in the field and can offer valuable guidance. They often can save you time and energy and frustration because they know how to point you in the right direction. Strong support from your sponsor can increase your potential for success. Your sponsor genuinely wants you to succeed. Otherwise, they would not have shared Healy with you. They're not there to distract you. They're not there to intentionally harm you. They want to see the greater good. And not always does it feel like we always have support. We're going to actually talk a little bit about how we can help ourselves and how we can be supportive downline members as well as upline members. Great sponsors aim to support you and understand the importance of helping you. Sometimes you can write down your questions if they come to mind. This is a really great one because I think sometimes we forget that maybe our sponsors have a lot of people to take care of, or they have lives outside of their Healy business. And so if we write them down and we send it to them, oftentimes we can get that support. So let's talk a little bit about the characteristics of a good upline. Now, this is
oops. Oh, I think we've lost Shannon temporarily. Shannon, hang tight. I'm just going to send her a quick text here. Okay, try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can.
Okay. Oh, thanks for your patience, folks. I know this is frustrating. It's frustrating for me too. All right, so let's take a look at characteristics. So as I was saying, you want to think about this in two ways. One is that you're thinking about it if you're building a team. Okay, what are the things that also, because you online, you also need to understand the right expectations of members. Okay, so put some characteristics on the screen I will take you through them, but hey, if it's a little sketchy, go ahead and read these on your own. Characteristics of good upline leaders are definitely that they understand that their role as a mentor, but they're not a boss. They definitely demonstrate a strong belief in the company and display genuine enthusiasm. They're loyal, they provide support, they maintain respect, they adhere to compliance and corporate guidelines. They embrace continuous learning mindset, and they serve as a source of encouragement, and they build relationships, specifically to make sure that this isn't just income generation. Yes, that's a benefit, but building the relationships and helping others should be the first and foremost reason that you are, that you are building those relationships. On the flip side, if you're a downline member, and you probably are, unless you're, connected right to the top, you should also be recognizing that you can't expect your sponsor to put in not just more than you, but the same amount as you, because we all get involved in direct sales for different reasons. And so there needs to be some level of understanding and empathy to make sure that you are not expecting something from someone that can't give you what you need. It's definitely not your sponsor's job to convince you, motivate you, or do any of the work for you, because you're going to get what you are willing to put in, right? So your upline is human. Remember that. And often has many people to support, and often have competing priorities, and often have families, and perhaps they have other things that are going on in their lives. And on top of the fact that not every upline was born a leader, they're learning. And so they're learning what to do and how to show up and how to be great. And so as downline members, we do have to remember that these aren't people who've generally gone through tons of leadership development to understand how to lead a team. And so listen, if your upline isn't available for whatever reason, first of all, don't judge, okay? Second of all, use your new team connections. Find agreeable crosslines, people who just love to help. Create relationships with people. Connect to your corporate support, your sales team. Find ways to empower yourself. You are part of a team, and so you need to be part of, you need to be that team player, but a strong and positive relationship has to go both ways. And so remember, the responsibility of your success is on you. And sometimes that's hard if you don't have the full support. And that's why we're saying, this is why we're going to give you the following steps now, because these are ways in which you can help yourself. These are ways in which you can find answers completely on your own. Okay. So I'm going to give you some great tips on what to do when you don't know where to go and how to find those answers. Okay. All right. Get familiar with your Healy. Well, there were lots of comments on how do we get more product training, and definitely there's more to come in this space, but you don't have to know it all at the beginning. Okay. What we want to know are some of the basics. We want to know frequencies are the language of the universe and how your body and mind and soul communicate. Okay. We want to know that Healy is a personal wearable device that analyzes over 9 million frequencies and selects the ones that you need to harmonize your bioenergetic fields. And we also want to know whatever energetic support you need in your life, there is a Healy application for you. Okay, so this is a start. This is a great place to start when it comes to understanding your Healy. Now, next, you also want to understand what your Healy does in simple terms. Okay, it analyzes frequencies, it delivers microcurrent frequencies to harmonize your bioenergetic field. This is simple. Guess what? You can find this in your back office. And I'm going to tell you some other things that will be really, really key to understanding what you need and how to go about using it, okay? All right. You want to know the ways in which Healy can help. And these are just some of the ways. I'm sure that there's a list much longer than this, but understand how your Healy can help solve challenges and pain points of folks, okay? So you want to go down that list. So there's ways Healy can help physically and mentally and emotionally, okay? So all this list can tell you how your Healy or someone who's interested in Healy, how it can help them. And I would really, really encourage you to be a learner and check out the Healy Academy. This is for your purposes. So I've given you the address. Take a snapshot if you need it to make sure that you're in there learning what you need to know, okay? But again, you don't have to get overwhelmed with learning all of the science. That's not necessary to grow your business. What you want to know are the benefits. You want to know the simple ways in which your Healy works in simple terms, and you want to know maybe the Healy ecosystem, okay? That might be something else that you might be interested in, okay? So knowing basic functionality of your Healy so that you can talk about it in a powerful way, and the ways in which, you know, this technology works, okay? So I hope I've simplified that, but I've also given you a space in the Healy Academy and really encourage you that if you really want to know more, get in there. Set aside some time, prioritize your time, give yourself 20 minutes a day, whatever your working days is. Maybe you work Healy 2 days a week, maybe you work it 6 days a week. Regardless, make sure that you've made it a priority to learn. You also want to set a networking plan. So this is also very important. This is a time when you want to be organized, okay? And organization is key here because let's face it, if you are connecting with people and you're not remembering, let's say, what you talked about or the interest level or the questions that they had, you run the risk of not actually creating a quality connection with that person. And so what happens is when you connect back and you haven't jotted down some of those notes on what you talked about or what they were interested in or what some of their questions or objections were, and you're not actually getting back to them, that is a trust breaker in some cases. You know, and on top of it, you might have written their number down and their name down. You call them up, guess what you're going to say? Hi, Sally. How are you? Remember we talked about Healy last week? And they're like, yeah. Oh, well, I wanted to know if you wanted to sign up for the business or you want to buy a Healy. Unfortunately, when you go straight into that, it now doesn't appear authentic. It doesn't appear in a way that you're making a quality connection to help that person. So being organized is really, really key. Yes, you want to make connections. Yes, you want to write them down. Yes, you want to update your list. Yes, you want to identify and track the next steps that you want to take and regularly follow up with them and offer continued support, because networking is part of direct sales. That is part of what we do. But how you do it matters, okay? The more people you make quality connections with, the more likely you are to have a successful business. It's not rocket science. Find people, talk with people, invite people, follow up with people, and then let people decide and respect that decision. We talked about that, I think, in our first webinar together. All right, moving on to the fourth step. The fourth step in your onboarding experience, you want to prepare to launch your business. Now, you know what? I think that there's not necessarily a formal way in which we do this at Healy, depending on the team that you are in. Maybe some of you have formalized this process, some of you haven't. Listen, a launch can help you attract customers and gain momentum with your Healy business. That is true, for sure. But there's different ways in which we can launch, okay? So by launching, the number one benefit of launching your business is actually a mind shift. It is, you're making a mental shift to say, I'm going to do this. You're making a commitment and you're saying it out loud. So what I know about goal setting and commitments is that if you actually make a commitment to do something and you share it with somebody else, the likelihood of you following through goes up, okay? Write it down, share it with a group of your peers, it goes up again. So by launching your business and telling people that you are going to do this now, it creates some accountability for you. It's a mental shift that happens. And so that is probably the most important. Now, of course, You can do this in a way that you're just making an announcement on social media. Maybe you're making an announcement to your family and friends. Maybe you're making an announcement to your kids, your partner. It doesn't matter how you do it. Now, you could also have a big party. I mean, what's more fun than launching a business through a party? You can do all of those things. It doesn't necessarily matter how you do it. You got to do what's right for you. But essentially, what you want to do is make it official. You're assuming the responsibility of being a business owner, an entrepreneur, because that's what you are. When you decide to start a business, that's what you are. So now all of a sudden you start taking yourself seriously. You follow through with your commitments. People take notice. They want to see what you're doing. These are all great things that push you into action. And, we can talk and talk and talk and talk. Unless we take action, our businesses are not going to grow. So it's time to differentiate yourself from others. Showcase your personality, your excitement, your passion for Healy, and then surround yourself with people that really support you. And ask your friends and family to support you. Whether it's if you do a launch on social media, ask them to say, "We're really excited to learn more." This is a way in which you can build some momentum, and also. It's okay to ask for support. And remember, this is something you'll learn in the first webinar. People want to support small businesses. They appreciate that personal service they get from direct sales. And millennials are favorable towards direct selling than any other generation. So if you're connecting with people online, listen, a launch is a great way to get out there. Okay. All right. Next is getting connected to your support system. So yes, your support system or your inner circle, those people who have your back, of course, these are the ones that believe in you and they are going to be your cheerleaders. So you definitely want to connect with those people, okay? Because that's one of the best things you can do for yourself as you're launching a business. But there are other people to consider, okay? And I've got a list here. Your upline contacts, your crossline contacts, any team chats that exist. Customer service. How do I find customer service so I can get answers quickly? Your corporate sales team, coaches that you have in your life, accountability partners that or mentors that you have. And of course, those cheerleaders, which we talked about already. Okay. When you connect with these people and you know how to connect with them, it allows you to not get stuck. It allows you to make sure that you have the right support in place so that you can keep moving forward and you're not, getting derailed because you don't know how to get the help that you need. Okay. Now, what's even more beautiful about all of this is that we have an action sheet for this too. Okay, so I will show it to you in a second. It will be available for you. And this will remind you of all these things. It even gives you a space to put all these contact numbers in, okay? You're going to avoid wasted time and energy when you get connected to people and resources right away. So, if you don't know where to find the help, you can, if you don't know where to find help, how can you help someone who also needs to get the help that they need? You can really become an independent entrepreneur so that you're not constantly leaning maybe a little too much on your upline. You can alleviate frustration, definitely, not just with the people that are on your team, but you can alleviate your own frustration when maybe you're asking somebody else to get you the help when in fact you can find that information yourself. And not necessarily be that high maintenance person, right? So you can stay on top of what's new because you're already connected to all the right places, and you can stay organized, which is really, really key to running a business. Okay. The other thing that I want you to consider when you're thinking about connecting to the right people and resources is you want to have the right information, knowledge, and support, okay? And so these are the things that you should also record on your action sheet, okay? Maybe it's your ID and login. Maybe it's team social media pages, team websites, corporate social media, your corporate back office. We'll talk about back office in a second. Any corporate training that is available, making sure that you know where to find it, when it's happening, how to share it with others. Direct Sales Association is another great place to find stats on. So if you're in Canada, there's a DSA in Canada and there's a DSA in the US. These are really, really great ways in which you can gather really great pertinent information that help build credibility. So, you can just go directly on their website, look for industry stats, direct sales industry stats, and it gives you all kinds of fantastic information. You want to be connected to the top team, of course. We're happy to help wherever we can, and any other trusted resources that you have. So, like I said, we want to make it easy for you. If you like putting a pen to paper, this is a great one-pager. You can gather all that information that I just told you are pertinent to staying organized and making sure that you're connected with the right people, and put it all on this one-pager. Super simple. Okay. All right. Next step, explore your back office. All right. So a few things to know about a back office. Okay. Every company is different. So I've worked with several, and some are comprehensive, some are simple, some are super technically advanced, some aren't, some are a little bit archaic. You know what? Here's the thing. No matter how it runs, your back office still has pertinent information for you that you can gather that will help you run your business, as long as you know how to leverage it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you some things that you can find in your back office, because maybe you haven't been in there, or been in there and maybe you don't know what you're looking at. So I'm going to share some of the things that you should be considering. Okay. So you know that when you join Healy, you're going to get this welcome to Healy World kind of letter. We want you to bookmark this link. Okay. So if you see that, these are your links to the events that are happening. And so from what I understand, they're even localized by your area, so you can see what's happening in your area. Okay. Really, really important thing to learn from your back office. Here's another one. Okay. You're going to find all of these things. So I've got a snapshot of what your back office looks like. And on the left-hand side of it, you can see all the things that you will be able to find. Your customer profile, pricing, product lists, team and organization info, reports, career rank, paid as rank, your distributor website, of course, that profile, promotions, incentives, product info sheets, marketing materials, company news, corporate training tools, comp plan, policies and procedures. You'll find that all in your back office. So you don't always have to learn it all, because you have this at your fingertips. Okay. So understand that. All right. So we have something personal. So when you log in, you get to see your page and how your team is doing. So understand that that exists in your back office. Some of the other things that you'll find in your back office are really understanding your the company mission and vision. These are really great things to share with others when you're sharing Healy, so that people understand that you're not just selling a fantastic product, which is amazing, but you're also sharing this mission to change the world, to, empower others, to help people who are experiencing pain, or in whatever way that they, pain points is what I should say. So experiencing pain points in all kinds of areas of their lives. So this is a way in which you can share that. One of the other things that you'll find, which is really great, is the corporate presentation. And if you take the time in your back office and take a look through that corporate presentation, it's got some really great history about Healy, and it will help you understand the company that you've partnered with from a really amazing perspective. So these are just some of the things that you'll find in your back office. You don't need to know it all. You just need to get familiar with it. Okay. And this is your reminder. You won't do the important things if you get distracted by the little things. So don't go down a rabbit hole. Okay. And this is really great quote to use right now, jumping into the next topic, which is, how do I get paid? All right. So comp plan can be quite overwhelming. It can be complicated. And what we want to do is we want to make it simple. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. You can find your comp plan. It's in your back office. You can find the comp plan. You can also find what we call a commission calendar. So in the back office, it's actually called your bonus calendar. This is actually going to tell you exactly when you're going to get paid. So if you're wondering, how am I going to get that first check? Well, actually, this information is in there. Make sure you check out the comp plan. But more importantly, you stick to some of these simple things that I'm going to share with you now in a second, and understand the bonus calendar and understand it's there for you to understand when you're getting paid. I said understand 3 times then. Sorry about that. All right. So there's 3 ways to earn with Healy: customer sales, team building, and leadership rewards. That's pretty simple, right? And here's the thing. There's ranks, fun ranks. So you can build up your business. And as you build your business and you rank up, what we like to call ranking up, you achieve fun and rewarding ranks. And with each of those ranks comes more ways in which you can earn. Okay, pretty simple, right? Here's the thing. How do you get paid? Well, we went through a little bit like this in the first, I think when we talked about direct sales and how people get paid, and I wanted to make it for Healy. Okay, members sell directly to customers. A member network is used to build the business. Members refer product, they earn money. Members enroll new members who refer product, and they make money. That's really all you need to know to start. You don't need to know anything else. And then as you're ranking up, as you're learning, you'll build some of that knowledge, because you don't need to worry about what's going to happen 18 months from now. What you want to know is, okay, how do I get paid that first amount of money? Okay, so I can understand that simple concept. And how can I share that with the new people that have joined my team? Okay. All right. And the last one, check out programs, promos, and incentives. And there's a lot. Okay. So brace yourself. There's the fast start. Okay. Fast start is a way in which you can kind of connect your business to get achievable results right away or quickly. Okay. There are also core bonuses. There's several of them here that I've listed. You can find out more on these inside your back office throughout the comp plan. But you don't need, like I said, you don't need to understand all of them all at once. All right. You want to understand what's relevant to you in the moment. And that's really key, so that you're not getting caught up in the little things, because then you're not going to do the important things. Okay. All right. So here we go. Just a reminder, onboarding sets the foundation for a positive experience for new members. And it is absolutely key to establishing any team. When onboarding is done well, new members feel equipped. They feel excited. They feel like they can hit the ground running, and that's what you want. Create a positive experience and set your team up for success. It has been a pleasure, as always, to serve you. I hope that most of you were able to hear most of what I said. If not, we will definitely send over the replay. And remember to make sure that you're learning from your mistakes, you're learning from other people's mistakes, but yes, also learn from those who are doing it well. Set yourself up for success and get out there and tap into your potential. All right. Okay. So a couple of things before I let you go. All right. Next week, actually, it's not next week. It's on July 10th. Okay. We are going to do our 4th webinar, believe it or not, and we're going to explore core values. All right. What's coming? I'm just showing you some of these dates. If you want to grab a snapshot of it, by all means. And another quick reminder that we have leader calls that are coming up. That one is on July 11th. All right. Would you be so kind, please, to share your experience today in our surveys? Again, I cannot tell you how important these things are. They really do help with us in understanding what we can do better, but also what we're doing well. So if you found this helpful at all, I hope you did. Please share that with us. Thank you so much, folks.
Thanks, folks.
What do you got? Yeah, you've got the survey in there.
Well, I've got a couple of different links. So let me just get really clear. The one that I just put in at, I'm on Mountain Standard Time, so 54 minutes past the hour. That is the replays for webinar 1 and 2. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that you have that. And let me just quickly copy and paste the survey webinar once more. And I'm going to put that in to the chat. There that is now. So that one came in at 55 minutes past the hour. So that's the survey. So you've got a couple of different links there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but we'll still stay on and we can answer some questions.
Definitely.
Thanks again, everyone, for your patience with the technology. I will go and yell at, I don't know, whoever is in charge of the internet and let you guys know how that went. So if you think I should do that, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Tell them to get it together. All right. Thanks, folks. We'll see you at our next webinar.
Thank you.